had a frost warning. I'm not sure if we actually had frost or not.
Cold?
Sometimes we joke about that with whether or not it's going to be raining or not. New left turn signals here. I don't remember seeing those lights before.
I think these come on when it's rush hour. This used to be a real bottleneck. Haven.
There's a bad bump coming up. I'm going to hop on and tell you about some upcoming events and also let you guys know what we've been up to. So we'll start off with the big one. That is Lions for Liberty. They'll help with the event. You have the opportunity to meet the guests before they speak at the event. Attorney Tom. That was really, really cool. Letters, that's GW. Hours. We weren't sure how long the event was with our American flag, and we ended up rolled in. We were just no parking apparently in Hagerstown to get to the racetrack where they were staying.
Would have been a long walk.
Yeah, which I can't do long walking with my issues with my legs. If you're interested in a table, if you're a grassroots group or any other type of group that's interested in having a table at the event, you can email Ken Lang at events@lionsforliberty.com. They're a first come, first serve. I'm not sure if there are tables still open. If you're interested in sponsoring the event, you can also email Ken at events@lionsforliberty.com. A silver sponsor is a minimum donation of $250. A gold sponsor is $1,500 or more. And there are certain perks to that as well. If you're coming from afar and you're looking for a place to stay, you can stay at the hotel that's hosting the event and save money by using code L as in lion, 4 as in the number, and L as in lion to get a rate of $149. You can see the FAQ for the additional details for that. And last but not least, Lions for Liberty is going to debut a new platform that's going to help combat censorship, promote competing narratives that are often censored, and help people have an opportunity to contribute. So it'll be really, really exciting to see that get debuted. I've seen some of that behind the scenes and it looks really exciting.
This road going off to the left is Old Route 61.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it crosses the river here. We're following the Schuylkill River, going north, upstream.
Oh, neat.
Hence why we haven't had to go over these mountains. We're going through them, along with the river.
I guess that guy's in a hurry. Burning rubber. This road is really getting bombed out though, so apologies for the shaky camera. It's impossible to avoid all the blowouts.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be. It could be raining and then you'd have the wipers.
Yeah, there you go. Shaking camera and wiper noise.
And wipers in your view. So.
See the billboard there?
Yep. I'm sure everybody's heard about the Bud Light bad marketing ploy, as they call it. They actually fired some people over it, supposedly. I know a lot of the groups that we've been to, people are not drinking Bud Light anymore. I think it was a bad idea what Bud Light did, but I don't drink beer anyway, so it doesn't really affect me. Like, I've already been boycotting them. Just like any other alcoholic company.
Here's the river.
It's Mauchunk Street. Mauchunk.
Yeah, this
it
is
reminds me of Allentown, the Mauchunk Road. Welcome to Pottsville. I love the old factories. It's a shame that we don't have them running.
It's the home of Yuengling beer.
Union Station. It's a big bus terminal. past the gym that I was looking at?
I don't know.
I forget what road it's on. I think it's off of 61. But I don't remember how far up it is.
It's been a while since I've been up this way. Usually when we're heading up this direction, we're taking Route 90. No, what's the route? I'm trying to think of the route number. One that we get at Schuylkill Haven. 9 something, isn't it?
Is it 903?
I was thinking it was, but I think that's a different road.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up.
Takes us up through Minersville.
Well, as we climb the mountain, I'll tell our viewers a little bit about Citizens Advisory of PA, because people may not have heard of them. If you want to check out their website, you can go to citizensadvisorypa.com. Their mission is, we are a voice for the children and stakeholders of our communities, and we advocate for their constitutional rights, educational choices, and pursuit of happiness. We hold local school boards accountable by pursuing full transparency in all fiscal, policy, and curriculum decisions in the region's schools. The need for engagement. School systems are complex and require many types of leadership to function properly. One of the primary sources of guidance and leadership in a school system is the school board. Along with the superintendent, the school board works to make sure the school has all the resources it needs to serve its students effectively. The school board is our nearest representative government elected by the community and takes an oath to uphold the state constitution and the United States Constitution. They are supposed to be a voice for the community while holding the school administration accountable for tax-paying citizens. Over the past 40 years, parents have been absent from their school board meetings. During this absence, school boards and school administrations to steer major decisions throughout communities instead of taxpayers. This is the primary reason that transparency has all but vanished. Tax increases are out of control, curriculum has gone off the tracks, and parents' rights to their children have been infringed. Please join us in our efforts to hold school boards and administration accountable again. As a member of Citizens Advisory PA, you will not be alone. We will be one. So they have an awesome feature on their website where you can file a citizens report, where you can submit an incident at your school district if you need help to look into it. The group will help you look into it. I do know that starting in June, they'll start charging a fee to submit those reports, but right now they're still free as far as I know. If you'd like to donate, you can submit a donation to them. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so your donation would be tax deductible. And if you're looking to join their membership, I know they're looking to launch that shortly, so stay tuned for that.
We got about 500 school districts here in Pennsylvania. It's a lot of school districts to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and you need a lot of involvement from the community because unfortunately a lot of us are just too busy to attend all the meetings, so you'll miss stuff. You'll miss important policy changes possibly, or votes. So it helps to have more people awake and involved.
I guess the good thing about having more school districts is they're smaller and you might have more opportunity to make changes.
Good point, because if they were more consolidated, like say like the healthcare networks, it would be almost too big to actually control them, you know?
I know some states are by county. I know Maryland is like that, and I think Virginia might be also.
I think that would be really bad for Pennsylvania because we have a lot of schools.
Can you imagine where we are, Berks County? There's like 20 school districts in our county. If that was all consolidated into one school district.
The bus rides would be insane alone.
Well, that wouldn't necessarily be true, but the control, you would not have the influence.
They wouldn't care. The administration wouldn't care. One little tiny group talking versus the entire county, you know.
They'll always argue that you'll save on administrative costs. I think that was one of the arguments when they consolidated school districts here in Pennsylvania years ago. They actually had more than 500 school districts.
Really? I didn't realize we had more than that at one point.
That's why a lot of our school districts are called areas. Like Kutztown Area School District.
Hamburg Area School District.
Yeah, because they consolidated other school districts in the area.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I know with this upcoming primary election there's 5 seats available on the school board that you can vote for across the state.
That's
for the school board.
Is that for everybody's school boards?
Yep, I believe so. Because basically what they do is they do 4 1 year, and then they wait 2 years, and then it's the other 5. Because school boards have 9 people on the school board. Most people don't realize there's 9 members on the school board.
Yeah, it gets complicated. Because our school district's divided even further into 3 regions. And you elect people just from your region.
Yeah, that part I'm not sure how that works for other school districts in terms of how you vote. That part I'm not sure about.
I don't think all school districts in our state are like that. Miles to Frackville.
I know one of the
all uphill too.
Yeah, I know one of the policies that Citizens Advisory AP are recommending that citizens check out is policy 809 in their school district. Check to see what they've written for that.
Which one is that? 809.
I believe that's the one. At least for our school district, that's the Educational Equity Committee that got established out of that. But it could vary depending on your school district, what's in that policy. I believe one of the things involved with that is the whole issue about guys going into girls' bathrooms. But I could be wrong. I know there's 2 of the policies, and I can never remember what the second one is. Those are some big rocks. I hope they don't destroy the old bridge. I like it.
Hometown Farmers Market. I saw that sign. Isn't that where Soup Mama has her place?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she's been up to lately. I know she's been attending different rallies and going out to East Palestine, Ohio, and the surrounding communities with donations to help people in need that have suffered since the train incident. Which I did see an article that the CDC officials that went out there actually got sick. It wasn't super bad or anything, but they still got sick. Yet they're trying to deny the residents there that they could get sick. So I find that interesting.
Yeah, the media didn't pay much attention, did it? Now we start to go up.
Up, and away.
Going up slowly, now we're going to go up less steeper.
Well, the other thing with the school that people need to pay attention to is like the curriculum, critical race theory, you got the...
They call it something different now. They painted it over and they call it...
what do they call it?
DEI.
Oh, diversity, equity, inclusion. You also have the explicit books in children's libraries at schools. Some of those include, genderqueer, fun home, push, all boys
set of lanes are to our left, somewhere up there.
There's not a lot of roads.
They're a little higher than we are right here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of roads that do that with the terrain.
Old 22 is like that when you.
That's what I was just thinking back on our trip. We have a disabled vehicle coming up on the second curve. The train remnants, right?
Yeah,
That
the
you're thinking
incline
of?
rail.
Yeah, that was really, really neat. It was so cold when we stopped there, but it was really cool. I guess he's no longer there. Nope, there he is. Okay. It's never fun to have to leave your vehicle behind.
Yeah.
The other thing I don't like about some of the book stuff, especially like the climate book that they're trying to, there's one climate book that's out now called 2 Degrees. I believe the author is Alan something. And it's pushing, one side of the climate debate, saying that, the world's going to end unless you do something, trying to turn children into activists. It just has very graphic descriptions of people dying in them, and it classifies everybody by their color, and it just seems very, very, very racist to me. Like certain people can't hang out with each other because of their skin color or because one has more money than the other. It seems wrong. Like, can't we let kids be kids?
It seems to push a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah, and I don't get it. Like, the one was like splitting the child from their father. Like, they wouldn't really talk about their dad very much. And it just seems like they want to divide up the family. I'm very much against the vision of the family. I feel like we need a strong family to be, grounded. Have good morals, have good values, know right from wrong. Know how to respect other people. Know how to, have a debate and still, be okay to disagree with someone. But definitely in the last few years, it seems like you can't have debates about certain topics anymore. They automatically try to label you. These clouds look really cool in the stream. It looks like you could leapfrog from one to the next. The flat bottoms.
Yeah, that's the dew point.
It's very neat.
Right where the bottom of those clouds are is the water vapors at the dew point.
Yeah. I was just reflecting the other day, going back to the convoy stuff, the truck triggered the memories. The whole point of the convoys in America was to try to get rid of that emergency order, that was basically keeping the country in emergency status. And we finally, after 3+ years, had a president sign it to declare the emergency over. Which should reverse the EUAs on the vaccines, COVID shots.
Somehow they were able to keep that going.
Yeah, I don't know if that's legal what they did with that. They did something about that in the last week or so. But I don't know if that's legal. Because I was pretty sure once the emergency's over, the EUAs have to go. There's a big medical freedom event coming up on June 9th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Hershey-Harrisburg area. It's in Grantville, PA. It's the Holiday Inn Hershey-Harrisburg. You can register for tickets at lionsforliberty.com. You can save 10% off if you use coupon code Gwyn in all capital letters. That's GWYN. And that's good till now through April 30th. I will be attending that event to help run it. So will Scott. So if you go there, make sure you come say hello. It'd be great to meet some of our viewers. Again, we don't make any money by sharing that code with you guys. It's just one of those things that we have a good relationship with Lions for Liberty. We've helped them out with several events, so we're just trying to help people be able to attend the event. Yeah, get a chance to see Dr. Peter McCullough speak, Steve Kirsch, attorney Tom Renz, and conservative talk show host Ken Matthews, who's really well known in the Harrisburg area.
Yeah, used to be the afternoon host on WHP, AM 580.
We had the chance of meeting him at the Lehigh Valley Tea Party meeting, it was like 2 months ago. And then he came over to the Berks County Patriots meeting and spoke there. I was able to live stream that, so if you missed that, you can check that out on my Rumble channel at Gwynny7, GWYNNY7, and you can hear what Ken had to say. I love his humor. He's a really funny guy.
Oh yeah.
He's so nice in person. It's just like just the way he was on the radio. Right now he does everything on a subscription basis. It's on Subscribestar. So you can look him up at kenmatthews.com, I believe, and find that information. He posts some things on Rumble as well. Essentially, he lost his job at the radio for having an incident where his microphone was on when he thought it was off. He was talking about the Hunter Biden's emails. The language was not very appropriate, and unfortunately went out in the air, so he lost his job over that. He's still standing up, educating people, talking about a lot of medical freedom stuff and politics. I did get a chance to ask him, because we always wondered, did Ken Matthews watch The High Wire with Del Bigtree? And he confirmed he does watch it. He always said Del was ahead of the curve on that. He knew a lot of that before he did. In case you're wondering what The High Wire is, The High Wire with Del Bigtree is a weekly show that happens at Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch the replays anytime you want, though, online at thehighwire.com. Del brings on all sorts of people from all over the world, guests. He's an investigative journalist. He has the Jackson Report. Jackson is Jeffrey Jackson, who is also an investigative journalist. We talk a lot about medical freedom and other things impacting our world, such as the food supply, the tax on our food supply, World Economic Forum, things like that. What I love about The High Wire is they always give you all the show notes and anything that they talk about the Monday after the show. So if you sign up for their newsletter, you get that in your inbox. So if you want to say, hey, I want to look at that study, you can look at that study because they link it. If you want to look at that article they referenced in the show, you can look at it. It's fantastic. Everything's cited. So it's a really good show. It's something we've been following for a few years now, and would highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in that type of thing.
There's always somebody when you want to move over.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes.
I think it's the first time I've driven this stretch of 81.
Yeah, typically we prefer to go the back ways, but we're running a bit behind tonight. We're headed to the Citizens Advisory of PA meeting, which is hosted up near, they call it Hanover Township, I think, PA. But it's at R&D Memories. It's open to anyone in the area, in the state. membership shortly, so there will be a fee if you're not a member for filing a citizen report in June 2023. So we personally feel that, with them having the legal arm part of their group, that they might be able to get further than some of the other grassroots groups in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, it seems sometimes in order to make change, you have to take people to court or threaten to take them to court. There's a rock that's painted. What are your thoughts on Citizens Advisory PA, Dad?
I think they're pretty well organized. I've been impressed by how they've been managed. I think they definitely have potential to become a statewide force. What's interesting is they've been able to raise enough money to actually hire a full-time executive director.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, she's really, really nice.
And I think that's going to make a big difference because so many people are doing this as a part-time volunteer effort. And it's a pretty big sacrifice. But it's a lot of money to be able to pay somebody. So it's a mixed bag. You can do a lot more with paid staff, but it's going to cost more to run it too. But they really have a good system here in the northeast part of the state. So if we can get more people involved in it across the state, I think it could be a sustainable effort.
I think that's their ultimate goal, though, is to spread across the state as they get bigger.
It could be a model for other states to look at. Try to do something similar. I guess my big concern is that people don't get involved enough. There's a tendency for everybody to just get complacent and go back to their normal life. I think we have to realize that there is a new normal, despite how many of us hate that phrase. There's a new normal in politics, and that is we all need to be more involved. Maybe that's really the old normal we long forgot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we kind of all got consumed with our lives and said, somebody else will do it. And then the people that ended up getting in those positions aren't doing a very good job. But they're doing it because nobody else wanted to do it.
I just remember being in a meeting last week, I guess it was. And I made a comment, because it was the first time we were at that meeting with that group. I said, it sounds to me like some of your public officials need to go. And you remember how the room responded to that.
Yeah, the one guy says that's putting it mildly.
And that's a good example, is that we've allowed people to run the shows. We were talking about township supervisors in this specific instance.
The one guy's been in there since the 80s. I don't remember the year, but that's a long time.
Yeah, here in Pennsylvania, you've got below the county level, you have these townships. Either it's a city or a borough or a township, and they have their own elected officials. A lot of townships have 3 supervisors. The bigger townships have 5, I think. There's different grades of townships in the state. Look at a road cut.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at these road cuts.
You can see how the rocks actually curve. They go through a minima there.
Yeah, that's really neat.
I forget my geologic terms. It's either a syncline or an anticline. You don't always see that exposed like that, where you can really tell turn like that.
It's almost like a smiley face.
Yeah.
it's low in the middle and it's high on the edges.
If you believe in plate tectonics, that's an example of when the Appalachian Mountains were being created, when two tectonic plates were colliding. Before the Atlantic Ocean existed. What was the name of the ocean before the Atlantic? Was it Iaptus? Or am I thinking, is that a moon of Saturn or something? Or Ionian? I forget the name of it. There was another name, another ocean before the Atlantic. And then it closed up, and that's when the Appalachians were formed, and then the continents spread apart again. And that's the Atlantic.
I feel like Iaptus was right.
Somehow I think that's a moon, one of the planet's moons, but I don't know about that. Watch, it'll be neither one.
It was the Iaptus Ocean.
It was Iaptus.
It was positioned between the continental masses that would, at much later time, roughly form the opposite shores of the Atlantic Ocean. It can be seen as a sort of precursor of the Atlantic, and the process by which it opened shares many similarities with the Atlantic's initial opening. This is from Wikipedia. Which I wouldn't normally trust on some things, but some things it's still okay for.
Yeah, I think for geology stuff, it's probably a reasonable source.
Apparently, the Iaptus Ocean existed in the late and early Paleozoic periods, 400 million years ago. It was situated in the southern hemisphere between the paleocontinents of Laurentia, Baltica, and Abylonia. The ocean disappeared with the Akkadian, Cladonian, and Taconic orogenies when these three continents joined to form one big landmass called Euramerica. The southern Iaptus Ocean has been proposed to have closed with the Phoenician and Taconic orogenies, meaning a collision between the western Gondwana and Laurentia. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering all of that, but they have an interesting map that shows what it looks like. These are interesting. They're changeable speed limit signs. Haven't seen
Yes,
this before.
sometimes they get bad weather up here. There's been quite a few big pileups when they get winter weather.
You got an old car passing you.
They do.
Looks like it's needs some TLC. It's a Mercury. So that meeting you were referencing earlier is actually our first meeting. We found out about it at our one committee meeting. That there's solar farms that are trying to get put in near us. And we're like, oh boy, that's not good. Because where we live in Berks County, it's really, really good farmland. And solar farms would just destroy the land. So we decided to attend the meeting, and it was rather enlightening. It's like, what, over 400 acres of solar farms they want to put in on like 3 different sets of land.
Yeah, over 400 acres.
And the people that have it on their land, they don't actually get any power from it. It all goes into the grid. The only quote power they get is money.
Yeah, it's a commercial operation. I guess a U.S. company with foreign investors. It's all a result of this so-called Inflation Reduction Act. What a joke that title is. I think that's an oxymoron. It's the Green New Deal in disguise. So all of this is heavily subsidized by our tax dollars. It's not economical, but when you throw enough money at it, it becomes economical for some companies to do it.
Well, look at the letters we received for our farm, that they want to put solar on our farm.
Yeah, it's all the same stuff.
They openly admitted in the letters that this isn't normally economical, but because of the Inflation Reduction Act, it's now economical. Which tells you all you need to know. It'll be interesting to see how much we can help the group. So they're looking at getting an attorney to help them out and make flyers and hand that out to people. Look at this beautiful view. Mountains for as far as you can see. I know we're both worried about the runoff from these solar panels.
Yeah, I think that's a real concern.
I mean, just our experience of going to Rutgers University to watch a field hockey game. They have solar panels over their parking lots, and it seems like every time we go there it rains. And the one time it was raining really, really hard, and it was just pouring off the panels. Like, you probably could have taken a shower if you stood underneath it. It was coming off so fast. Might have actually hurt though, because it was coming off pretty fast. But the thing is, that area where they want to build it, it already floods when it rains. So adding all that extra runoff is just going to be bad.
You're effectively creating a lot of impermeable surface. It's kind of like putting a parking lot out there. So if you put solar panels up on top of a big parking lot, it's kind of a win-win, because
it's already impermeable.
It's already impermeable. You're generating power on something that was just sitting there. And it actually shades your car if you park under it.
Yeah. Didn't Princeton put some in their one parking lot too?
Yeah, they did. Same kind of thing.
I think the one lady told us about New Jersey. Apparently New Jersey has some kind of rule or regulation that they have to put the solar panels on top of the warehouses. And I think that's brilliant, because for those that live in Pennsylvania, if you don't know, we're getting invaded with warehouses along the I-78 corridor and 22. They're just building them everywhere. But if we put the solar panels on top of those, that eliminates a few problems. It eliminates the drainage problem on the farm fields. It also eliminates the animal problem, like deer and other small creatures, because they're up on a roof. Because the way they want to build them right now is they want an 8-foot tall fence around the solar panels, but they're going to have no exit for wildlife. So if deer got in there or other animals got in there, they wouldn't be able to get out unless they could get out the way they got in. But sometimes animals aren't as smart as they think they are. They'll get into a situation, but they don't know how to get out of it. But by having them on the roof, you wouldn't have that animal problem with the deer, the smaller critters. Now, I still don't know how it affects birds. That's something I have to do some research on myself. Some people says it affects migratory, predatory birds with their migratory patterns, but it's something we have to research more about. We have Hawk Mountain, which is what do they call it, a historic site. It's preserved. So we have to check into that, because it could affect the migratory birds going to Hawk Mountain.
It's a migration corridor.
Yeah, it's a really big migration corridor for birds.
Yeah, I don't really know. I believe they came out against the plan, though.
Yeah, they wrote a letter of support for us that are fighting it. I guess my other concern is, well, you also got the devaluing of property because you have that eyesore in your backyard. questions are, what happens when it's down the road and you got to replace the panels? Because apparently they only last like up to 15 years, and then you got to replace them. It's like, where does the waste go?
I thought they were good for about 25 years.
Apparently not the ones that they're looking at using. I think the gentleman said 12 to 15.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess there's different types.
I know there's the monocrystalline and the polycrystalline.
I don't know which type they're looking to use. We'd have to try to figure that out. I mean, I can't really blame the farmers that want to sell their land for the money, because they're offering them a lot of money. But it's definitely going to impact the entire agriculture community having solar farms. And it's one of these things, once one starts, they tend to spread over like a cancer. So people are worried that they're going to have solar farms all around them and won't be able to escape it. A lot of the people, it sounded like a lot of people that attended that meeting have been farming on the land for generations. From the gist I got from some people. And some flat up said they would move if the solar farm came there. They wouldn't stay. So I came out here to live, in the agriculture, rural area, not to be around a solar farm.
It's interesting how they're able to put this under the umbrella of agriculture.
That's what I can't wrap my head around. How is a solar farm agriculture? It's just because it has the word farm in it doesn't mean it's a farm.
I guess it's another flavor of a factory farm. You hear that term.
Like chicken factory farms.
Yeah,
animals.
acres and acres of chicken houses. Is it really much different? You got runoff from the chicken houses too.
Yeah, I don't know. I know factory farming is really gross, not good. It's better to raise your own food if you can. Grow a garden, have your own chickens, process your own chickens. Buy from local people that raise their own cows naturally. Especially now when they're looking at possible mRNA in the food supply. It's kind of scary to think about.
This view looks familiar.
It does. The truckie's gonna ruin it though. I'm trying to think, what else is it that we wanted to talk about? So we want everybody to vote. I think the last day you can register or change your party is May 1st.
Here in Pennsylvania. Every state's different.
And then election day is May 16th, I believe. It's Tuesday. I know for us, we got school board elections, we got township elections, commissioners, county commissioners, judges that we get to vote for, the local judges, and then you got the higher courts and the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania. So make sure you get out and vote. And if you can, support your candidates that you want to support, whether that is handing out palm cards on the day of the election or talking to your neighbors. Just get involved somehow. I think the only way we're going to change things is if we get involved. Been sitting idly by watching things basically go downhill for far too long. The last few years have taught us anything, it's that we need to get involved and advocate for policies that we want. And if an elected official isn't doing their job, we have to hold them accountable. I mean, primary them out, find better candidates.
If you can.
If you can. And if you can't, then consider running yourself.
Try again next time, I guess, We're going to certainly have some races like that here.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be able to put out all the fires the first time around. It's going to be an ongoing process. You got to try to do as much as you can. For without burning out.
Because remember, the other side is going to come after us.
Yep.
As we're getting involved, they are also gearing up as well.
And if you can't get involved physically because of time, or you have a health condition or what have you, if you're in a financial position, consider giving money to help those that are, doing the things that you want to do. Every bit helps. Physically going out and doing things, donating money, every bit helps.
My mom had a philosophy about that. She used to volunteer, and I guess where she worked, they wanted her to donate to United Way or something. That was a big thing where they wanted 100% participation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They kind of shamed you into it. Kind of like the getting vaccinated. So she didn't do it. I don't know if she was the only one or not, but they were giving her a tough time about it. And she said, I volunteer my time. Which was true. She was involved with Girl Scouts, and she was also involved with some kind of community stuff as well at the time.
I remember getting shamed in school. We used to get these, I guess they were kind of like little banks, but they were for UNICEF. That we would do fundraising for UNICEF in elementary school. And we were supposed to go around and try to collect money for UNICEF, and I didn't do it because my gut told me, they didn't really tell us a whole lot about it, and it's I'm not going to give money to something I don't know enough about.
Yeah.
It's I just felt uncomfortable with it, and I just remember getting shamed for it, because they're like, oh, how much money did you collect? And I said, 0. And they were like, well, did you even try? And I said, I'm not going to donate to a cause I don't know enough about. And they just looked at me funny. But I guess that kind of goes back to my first day of elementary school when our teacher asked us, what's the largest number you know? And you had been teaching me about the national debt for the U.S. And I said, 1 trillion. And the teacher's like, do you even know what that means? And I said, yeah. She's like, well, go to your desk and write it out. So I wrote it out, and I triple counted all the zeros and gave it to her, and she was really upset at me, which was unfortunate.
I never understood why she would be upset.
I don't get it either, but she was. She made me stay at the end of the school day to write in my note to you in my, what do they call it, our take-home book or whatever, where the teacher could write notes to your parents. And she was taking her sweet time that I missed the bus. So then my brother was able to get on the bus, and the bus was starting to pull out of the parking lot. I'm like, I can run to the corner. And they're like, no, you can't do that. So then I had to wait till my brother got home, which was an hour-long bus ride. And then
No, it wasn't.
It felt like an hour-long bus ride to a little kid. And then he had to come get me.
Well, you just make it up if you don't know, don't you?
That's just how it felt to me as a little kid. It felt like it was forever. Because nobody was there. All the janitors, everybody was home. This one nice lady stayed behind.
Oh, mine, it felt like you were sitting there for an hour, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. The teacher didn't stay to wait for you to show up. It was some other nice lady that stayed from the office. It sucked.
Yeah, I remember they called me. Said, well, where's Ian? And it's like, well...
He's on the bus. It was just annoying.
I kind of have to wait till he gets home first. Because they wanted me to come over right away.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I got a first grader coming home on a bus without his sister.
Yep. It was just dumb. The other kids had no idea what a trillion was. I think the highest numbers that they remembered was a few hundred, 300, 500, that kind of thing. They didn't even hit the 1,000. But then I remember 2nd grade, we got to our multiplication tables, and I remember doing that a lot with you too. So we had this relay race where we were divided in half, and it was a competition between the 2 teams. And if you got it right, you could stay in line. If you got it wrong, you had to sit down. So the teams kept dwindling down, so it was against me and Jordan at the end, and I was just beating him. So you had to get the best out of 5 or whatever, and I got all 5.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. He was so mad though, because he wanted to win. I remember the one that tripped him up was 12 times 12. Because initially it was only
thought the 11s times table was the hardest.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's odd numbers.
Especially when you get up to the double digits.
Yeah.
Like 11 times 11, 11 times 12, 11 times 13.
We didn't go past 12.
Yeah, 12 is where we went. But I just remember looking out past that, you know, on my own.
Do you know where we get off the highway?
In 1.5 miles, we get on 29.
I see the exit sign.
We're going to come in like we did last time. You know how you make it's a hard exit where you go underneath?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, so Banana Coke.
Coming down into the Wyoming Valley.
Right? Look at the rock crops.
Yeah, there's Wilkes-Barre. And probably Scranton, straight ahead.
Yeah, it's all lit up by the sun right now. Luzerne County Community College, exit 164. Alright, well, I'll do a brief recap of everything we talked about. So we talked about the Lions for Liberty event coming up on June 9th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can get tickets online at lionsforliberty.com. Use coupon code Gwyn, capital letters GWYN, save 10% off from now through April 30th. And also we talked about what we've been involved with our school board and our local community, finding a solar farm, getting ready for the primary elections here in Pennsylvania. We talked a little bit about, you know, the books that are in school libraries, CRT, you know, the climate change agenda they're trying to push, things that you should probably be aware about in your local school boards. Also talked a little bit about some of the history of the roads as we drove along. Am I missing anything?
You covered it pretty good.
We talked a little bit about PA, Citizens Advisory of PA and what they're doing. That's where we're headed tonight. If you want to check them out, you can go to citizensadvisoryofpa.com where you can learn more about them.
So is this the exit we want? Ashley?
We get off at Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, we go further?
Yeah, 1.8.
Okay.
So this is Sugar Notch and Ashley. I'm not sure the next time we'll go live. If you want to check out a really cool car show, hop over onto my YouTube channel at Gwyn7, GWYNNY7. I have a video up. It's silent purposely because I did not have the rights to share the music or permission to share the voices of those that were in attendance, so I took the audio out. But you can go check out some really cool cars. So I attended that on Friday night. That was really fun. And then if you want to check out some photos, you can hop over onto Facebook under Gwen's Notes, GWYN''S in the word notes. I have a whole bunch of photos there. If you're more of a photo person, you can check out the cool cars there as well. And if you'd like to donate to help cover the live stream and help us cover events, or if you'd like to have us cover an event, definitely reach out. If you want to donate, you can donate on PayPal at Gwyneth Ballard, GWYNETH, F as in Frank, OWLER, or you can do Venmo at Gwyn7, GWYNNY7, or you can use Cash App, which is the $, Gwyn7, GWYNNY7. All donations help us cover events. You know, you gotta put gas in the car and be able to get somewhere these days, so otherwise you're hiking, which is a long hike. And obviously it helps us cover gear. Like, we were able to get a nicer microphone thanks to donations in the past, so we appreciate that. It definitely has improved our sound quality for events, I'd say, by a lot. And we'll stay in touch and catch you next time when we're on the road. We hope you have a great evening, and see you next time.